Warhammer 40k's 10th edition brings about some key changes that enhance the overall gaming experience while retaining the essence of the familiar universe that we've come to love. If you enjoyed 9th edition and are seeking improvements and tweaks, this edition goes above and beyond in my point of view, ensuring you'll have an exhilarating time exploring the new rules. However, if you're one of the many people who strongly dislike 9th edition, the changes in 10th edition may not move the needle for you. They may not be enough to change your perspective. The game still retains the essence of its previous versions, and while the core mechanics remain consistent, the army and mission rules bring new elements into play, which may end up changing your impression. For players who are captivated by the underlying concepts of 8th and 9th edition, but found that certain aspects lacked in execution, 10th edition is worth a shot. Many common concerns expressed about 9th edition, such as the overwhelming volume of rules, the lack of an ease to be able to reference all these rules, and the creativity and consistency of missions, have been addressed and improved upon by Games Workshop. While the changes may not be as radical as the changes were from 7th to 8th edition, they are purposeful and they are substantial, and that's going to promise most people a more enjoyable gaming experience, especially if you're a newcomer who's not been exposed to previous versions. This may be a lot easier to digest mentally. With its adjustments and its attentions to its pain points, Warhammer 40k's 10th edition is a testament to the efforts of Games Workshop to identify problems and refine those and evolve their game. So let's talk about the changes. First off, we got changes to army construction. The 10th edition introduces a more simplified approach to army construction. You're no longer going to be burdened by some complex force organization chart. You now have a way to pick an army construction model that allows you to play the characters you want and start adding units with only a minimal amount of restrictions. The stat line for characters has also been revised. The units have undergone a major rehaul here. It's taken a lot of inspiration from some of Game Workshop's other games, primarily Age of Sigmar and Kill Team. The key characteristics like weapon skill, ballistic skill, attacks, strength of weapon, they've all been moved to the unit's weapons profile. Leadership has also received a revamp, introducing a new target number to roll on 2d6, and units now possess an objective control or OC characteristic that determines control of objectives, obviously. The psychic phase and the morale phase, both of those phases have been removed from 10th edition. The psychic phase, which made a comeback in 6th edition and 7th edition, has been removed again. Psychic abilities now occur naturally during relevant phases, such as the shooting phase or the command phase, and that eliminates the need for a separate phase dedicated entirely to psychic powers. The morale phase has also been removed. It's been replaced with what's called the battle shock test, and that takes place during the command phase and has a different behavior to it than what morale phase is. We'll go over more of these in later videos. In a departure from the idea of having standalone characters that we had in 9th edition previous, characters can now attach themselves to units for the entirety of the game. The orders they have are still a thing, but now many characters primarily focus on buffing the units they lead, which creates a stronger sense of cohesion on the battlefield. The visibility rules have had a little bit of a change. There's now 4 types of visibility. You have model and unit visible, which means the active model can see any part of that model or the unit. You also now have model and unit fully visible, which means the active model can see every part of the model, which includes the base it is standing on, or every model in the unit. Probably one of the most significant changes in 10th edition is their overhaul of the mission system. They've gone in and looked at the best aspects of 9th edition's Grand Tournament missions, and this has turned the new mission system on its head. It now offers more flexibility and a more dynamic level of gameplay It rewards a player who can adapt to changing their priorities and bringing a versatile army to the table instead of a one-dimensional army. We now have the objective controlled stat that I mentioned earlier. The old objective secured rules been replaced by this. Each datasheet now features an OC stat for the model or unit that they represent, and that adds a nuance to objective play. This change eliminates the tactics of using a single OBSEC model to secure an objective and open up new design possibilities. Other than this, objective markers themselves have remained the same, so if you're like me and you went out to Etsy or 3D printed your own cool objective markers to mark off the 3-inch range, those are still going to be valid. Now, let's talk a little bit about stratagems. In 9th edition, it was possible for a team to bring to battle 50 or 60 or more stratagem options. Were they all used? No, only a handful usually received consistent play, as the rest of them were too niche to see the light of day. Also, some stratagems were only named differently based off the faction you were playing. They did the same things that other stratagems did, but they had a little different flavor context to them. 10th edition has addressed this bloat by creating 11 core stratagems that everyone can use, as well as 6 that will be detachment specific. So really now you're only having to remember 17 stratagems for each game you battle in. Do note the detachment specific stratagems do change based off the detachment you're running, so that does offer some changes to your gameplay style if you choose to go different routes with your deployment. Another thing that has been consolidated like the stratagems is a concept of universal special rules, or USRs. Like those stratagems, many rules were thematically named for the faction which the rule was in, even if the wording was exactly the same. The 10th edition combines these into universal rules like deep strike for deploying for reserves, sustain hits, indirect fire. While USRs are designed to make things easier, there are still some instances where playtesters have reported some difficulty in finding the meaning of certain keywords. So I really expect either Games Workshop or the user community itself will make a PDF cheat sheet that will list all the USRs in an easy to read format, much like they've done for games like Kill Team and Warcry. Overall, the changes in the 10th edition are largely positive in my humble opinion. The rulebook presents information in an easy to read, comprehensible, and accessible manner with clear layouts that include summarized bullet points, helpful diagrams, and visually appealing design elements. Notably, stratagems now have a standardized layout, providing explicit details regarding when they can be played, targets, and usage restrictions, making them easier to understand and utilize effectively in-game. Games Workshop took note of some of the things people liked in some of their other games and brought them here to 10th edition. With these updates, Warhammer 40,000 10th edition offers an improved gameplay experience, emphasizing strategy, flexibility, and a streamlined approach to rules interpretations. The release of 10th edition has generated a lot of buzz within the Warhammer 40k community. Players are eagerly adapting their strategies and army lists to fit in with the new rules. So it's an exciting time to be a part of this hobby, with opportunities to experiment, discover new tactics, and engage in epic battles with other like-minded enthusiasts. And there you have it. This is a kind of a quick and dirty overview of the long-awaited 40k 10th edition rules that were released today. So whether you're a seasoned veteran or a new recruit, or just now coming back to the hobby like I am, this edition promises to deliver an immersive and exciting experience. So join me and this community here on Warlock of Wifi as we explore the depths of the 41st millennium together. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Stay updated on all things Warhammer. Share your thoughts. any new strategies you come up with, and what are your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations for 10th edition, or what do you really hate about 10th edition in the comments below. So until next time, may your dice rolls be true and your battles be legendary. This is Warlock of Wi-Fi, signing off.
Hush.